Welcome to the place where you, the individual atheist, can type in atheist, sort by new. Get this guy who's not an atheist and has zero desire to debate with an atheist. Instead, he says, hey, if we're looking down on other people because we disagree with them, that's not cool. That's not a good human experience. I refuse to do that. I actually want to find out, even though I'll never be an atheist and they'll never be a Christian, what can we actually agree on? At least we can have some conversations in the realm of emotional intelligence. At least we can do that. And that's why because it's a good thing to interact positively with other human beings. We can learn from each other. And that's what this exchange is all about. Let me look at my sticky notes to find out what this video is about. Because what I do is I'll look at comments that I like and I'll just kind of take notes on that. Here we go. Here was one, I believe, from Crazy Jesse, one of basically my most faithful viewers on the channel, and he's in that top 5 emotional intelligence percent of my channel who gets, hey, Nick is fundamentally not interested in debating, proving someone wrong, ignorant, or moral. Even if people do that to him, then he just ends the conversation. Crazy Jesse totally gets it. I love Crazy Jesse. He left me a comment basically implying that humans, by default, our default is to be religious people. I think that's a great topic, and I 100% agree. And the pastor of my church was talking about this a few weeks ago. But I mean, I already knew this. This to me is evident in the Bible that humans were created to worship their God. But, is most of the world Christian? While the most popular religion is Christianity, that doesn't mean most of the world worships God or even believes in the God that I believe in, who is the Heavenly Father of Christ. So, with that being said, let's look back at this here. So is the default religion, is the default to believe in God or gods, as atheists would say. When atheists leave comments, they always like to say gods. They don't like to say capital G-O-D. I've noticed that, so I'm just trying to speak to that, looking for things that we can maybe agree on, or at least understand each other better. So that's why I said that just then. But this concept of the default, the default is to at least want to believe that God or gods exist. You know, and one of the things that a lot of atheists cannot agree with me on is when I say choose to believe. But I fundamentally believe that Christians can choose to believe, and I believe fundamentally atheists cannot choose to believe. Because an atheist, when they hear believe, they think, I'll believe it when I see it. To which me as a Christian, I say, well, that's not believing. Because believing is when there is no physical evidence that you can prove, oh, here's God. But yet you still perceive that as your reality anyway. To me, that's believing. Believing is not seeing. It ceases to be believing at that point. Is our default to believe that God exists ultimately? I say yes. I say absolutely yes. I say the Bible backs it up 100%. But it's interesting when we're talking about this from the atheist perspective, which is yours, the individual atheist. And I really want your comments to be about that. I want to hear from you on that. Ultimately, this concept that, okay, well, and this is me, I'm pretending to be an atheist for a minute. I'm imagining that what you believe is God did not create man, man created God. I've heard that throughout my life. And I guess that's probably how you perceive it. You perceive that man they want there to be something bigger. They want there to be this higher power. They want ultimately this perfect father figure who is almighty and all powerful and all knowing and can take care of them and provide and all these things. People want that. They want this false hope ultimately. So they make whole religions out of it. Now, if I were to guess what you were going to say, it'd probably be something like I just said. And you know what? I totally get it. I totally understand that perspective of it, and it makes a lot of sense. And it's funny because in theory, wouldn't it be easier not to believe in God? I mean, I think that might even be the more interesting question for this video. Is it easier not to believe in God? Maybe not. Not if the default is to believe that there is God or gods or something like that, some kind of deity. That's the default. So I guess in my mind, there's a paradox right now. It seems to me that despite most people naturally wanting to believe in God or gods or some kind of deity, it's actually easier not to believe, right? I mean, right? If it requires you to see physical evidence of Jesus or God or some kind of spiritual being, if it would require that, and God does exist and he could easily make that happen, then, see, that seems like the harder sell in this situation. I mean, I'm trying to think of, if I was a person who was not a Christian or I had never even heard of religion, and I was grew up in an igloo by myself, it seems the harder sell is to convince someone that God is real. Yet by default, it seems most people lean to believing in some kind of higher power. I think that's an amazing paradox. Help me sort that out right here in the comments.